I'm DR, and this is Telco in 20. Jumbo from beautiful Diani Beach, Kenya. I'm here attending the NOVACOM One-to-One Telco Summit, where I've met Ali Hussein Kassim, the host of the Ali Talks Tech podcast. In case you don't know about it, it focuses on Africa's changing technical landscape. Ali Talks Tech has over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and a whopping 65,000 followers on LinkedIn. He's here at the summit too, and has invited me to join him on his podcast to talk about my latest favorite project at Totogi, the work we are doing with Zain Sudan. Some of you may know that in early February, the mobile subscribers of Zain and MTN in Sudan lost connectivity due to the ongoing civil war in the country. Key data centers were attacked, and subscribers were without services for over a month. Zain called up Totogi because we were the only provider in the world that could help them. They needed a 100% pure public cloud system that could be up and into production super fast and at a low cost, without having to ship equipment or sending a team to the region. We got Zain's network up and running, restored its monetization, and connected subscribers back to the critical services they needed in only 18 days. Today, Ali is going to interview me and Abdalla Hamid, Director of IT at Zain Sudan. We're going to talk about how the project happened so quickly, the awesome power of the public cloud, and how Zain is now in position to start using AI with their 2G, yes, 2G network. Today's episode is a rare double drop. We're sharing the interview on both our podcasts, and we're also capturing the interview on video, which you can find on my or Ali's YouTube channel. Yippee! So, let's take 20.
Hi guys, this is Ali Hussein Kassim of Ali Talks Tech. Today we are doing episode 2 of season 3, and we are at the back of NOVACOM Summits in Diani. So in between sand, and beach, we are doing a little bit of work. And I am super excited today to have with me and Danielle. Forgive me if I misspell you, pronounce your name.
No, you got it.
Danielle Rios Royston.
Yes, you got it.
Of Totogi, CEO of Totogi. And we'll talk about what Totogi is all about. And with me, Abdalla Hamid, Director IT. Yeah. IT Director at Zain Sudan. Yes, you had that right. Zain Sudan. We are here today to really talk about what Totogi has done to help Zain Sudan continue to operate in the situation that we know Sudan is in today. Yes. But first, before we go into that conversation, just a bit of introduction.
Yeah.
So, Danielle. Who's Danielle?
Who is Danielle? I'm actually DR.
DR?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not a doctor. Danielle Royston. Everyone calls me DR.
From Totogi.
From Totogi.
Okay, so for one bit, I just stepped back a bit. You're from Texas. I just had DR, and it took me back to JR.
That's in Dallas. I come from a tech city called Austin.
Okay.
A lot of people know about Austin because we have this really great music conference called South by Southwest that attracts very international audience. But I'm a Texan by birth. I went to Stanford University. I have a computer science degree. So I'm technical sometimes.
That's okay.
But yeah, I came to telco relatively late, 2017. So I'm a baby when you talk to telco execs, they've been telco execs for 20 years or 30 years. I've only been in telco for, I guess now almost 7 years.
Okay.
And started a startup because I saw that a lot of the tech in telco was written like we used to do things in the 90s, which obviously I'm very comfortable with. But there's been so many waves of technology, virtualization, cloud, and now AI. And I saw an opportunity to really capitalize on that. So started Totogi, and off we go. Yeah.
So that name really intrigued me. Totogi.
Yeah.
American company in Texas. What does Totogi mean?
So we focus in an area of telco software called charging. rating and charging. And so many people don't know what that is, but if you remember being encouraged to call nights and weekends, call your grandmother to save money.
Yes.
That is rating and that is charging. And so so that's what we focus on. And I am not Samoan. I am Mexican by birth.
Okay.
But Totogi is a Samoan word that means to charge. It means to pay.
Interesting.
So
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Not many people know that, but that's what Totogi means. It's really cute. Like our logo has like little eyes and a smile, and it's always winking because we're always up to something very interesting. So
Brilliant.
that's Totogi.
Thank you so much, Danielle, for that introduction. Abdallah.
Yes, please.
So it's rare for me to interview two people at the same time, but the story of Totogi and Zain Sudan is quite compelling.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
Absolutely compelling. So introduce yourself and then let's try and connect the dots why you are here with Danielle from Totogi.
All right. So first of all, my name is Abdalla Hamid, IT director. In fact, the story is incredible story. We have been, we at Zain Sudan, we lost the power for all the centers, which is created a humanitarian, issue for the whole population and the whole country.
So maybe
So
just
what happened, right? So we were in February, we lost the data centers, all our data centers. We lost the power. Yes, this
you
February.
lost power all your data centers.
All the data centers.
Wow.
Right. Then, and thankfully, we have a plan.
Okay.
With Totogi. We had a talk already on this.
Okay.
And we placed a requirement to get our services up and running
Okay.
in a very, very tough and short time and timeline.
Tough environment, very short time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then we made it from there with help of other definitely partners
Okay.
and companies.
Yeah.
To get our Sudan again connected. Right?
Okay.
Make it, enabling people to connect to their families, also providing the basic requirement. I mean, basic, what do you call the
Basic services.
service?
Yeah.
Exactly.
essential service.
Yeah, essential.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Essential service.
Yes.
So thanks God, we back to connect the people and we generate again revenues for Zain Sudan.
So how long were you down?
We have been down for around 40 days.
You were down for 40
Yes.
days. Now for a telco, could you just give us a view what that means for telco and for the population that it's serving? How many subscribers did you have at that time? What do you have?
All right. So for telco, if you look at, you don't have voice, you don't have data, you don't have nothing.
For 40 days.
Yeah. So
Wow.
almost we were blind, except for some areas, and we have definitely
Yes.
some other operators also they have the same problem by then. Being without internet, being without voice call, SMS whatsoever, internet, telecommunication services, that means we are back to centuries, right? So you cannot survive with any situation. You cannot send money to your families. You cannot,
Find out what's going
You
on.
can't do
Exactly.
anything
And you cannot
that is...
anything. Yeah. Yeah. So that's create a humanitarian, issue.
Yeah,
for
I think
the
it's the
population.
largest humanitarian crisis active in the world right
Active,
now.
yeah.
And so it's just been this incredible project.
Yeah.
So, Danielle, we're now trying to connect the dots.
Yeah.
So I was trying to bring myself up to speed on some of the things that we are going to be discussing today.
Absolutely.
And I'm just going to read a press release from your company, just the headlines.
Okay, got it.
And
Sure.
then let's have a conversation about that. Zain Sudan goes live with Totogi's charging as a service. So that's CAAS.
Yeah. CAS.
CAS.
We sometimes say CAS.
Yes. Allowing business continuity with an alternative to its on-premise incumbent charger.
Yeah. Correct.
How did you do this? And
Yeah.
how long did that take?
Yeah.
And as you answer that, give us a glimpse of how long traditionally that would have taken.
Yeah.
Over to you, Danielle.
Yeah, well, we'll start with traditional.
Yes.
And like I said earlier, when I came to Telco, it really was like the dark ages. It was like the 90s in terms of deploying software.
Okay.
And I had this really interesting idea, which is there's this thing called the public cloud. Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. They've recently have been investing in Africa. 5 years ago, there were not regions here. Now there's 3, one each. They're in Joburg and one in Cape Town. Each one of those regions represents probably about $3 billion of investment into Africa, each region.
100%.
Right. And so that's a ton of money being poured into Africa. And so we built our system on top of the public cloud. And we did that because it's super modern technology. They're managing all the hardware and the servers. It takes the pressure off of Zain to
build their own private cloud.
It's not their own private cloud. You're literally using the servers of AWS.
No,
right?
I'm saying it takes off.
Oh, yes, you're right.
It takes off that headache.
The headache of managing the
Correct.
hardware on-prem. But just
Correct.
think about in Africa, like most of these servers are not sourced within the continent.
That's correct.
They're being shipped. They
Yeah.
get stuck at customs at the port.
Absolutely.
Can't get them. It takes months and months. Then you need the people with the talent, right? Usually from the vendor. Sending people to a place like Sudan is very difficult. It's a hazard, right? I mean, they're in the middle of a war, but not with Totogi. We're totally in the public cloud. We just need to connect the network, which takes days. And then compared to an incumbent legacy vendor, a system like this to implement would take at least 6 months, usually more than a year, and
6 months.
and sometimes as much as 18.
So at least 6 months.
At least.
Usually more than a
year.
year. But
Yep. So we
as
can't,
you know, probably 18.
yeah, like Abdalla was saying, we had a plan on paper, right? We did not have a commercial agreement. They had been worrying about this potential situation, and so we had a plan, but it was literally on a piece of paper.
Okay.
And the connectivity was cut in early February, and they were like, "Okay, there's only one person, one
Let's
vendor in the
go.
whole world that
Who
could
can do
this.
this?
And it's Totogi." And they asked us, "Can you go live in 2 weeks?" And I was like, "You would never ask that of any vendor."
No, wait a minute. You just said 2 weeks.
Yep,
And
18 days.
you've just said that you will take at least at a minimum 6 months.
Well,
And they wanted 2 weeks.
for us, a typical deployment is that quick, right?
Oh, really?
But an incumbent vendor will usually take 6 months to a year. And so they ask, "Can you do it in 2 weeks?" I mean, they have no revenue, right? Plus the humanitarian crisis,
Of course.
right? They're like, you don't understand how important it is to restore our services to our subscribers. And so I said, "I don't know if I can do it in 2 weeks, but we'll try." And we did it in 18 days.
Yeah.
So just 4 days.
A little bit,
Oh.
we're a little bit late, but
wow.
and it was amazing. And I think
well,
I think the Zain team was.
I'm sure we
astounded.
can forgive you for 4 days.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. We learned a lot, but it was,
Wow.
really, again, I think helping the people of Sudan. We're so proud that it's so much more than just a technology implementation or a fast technology implementation or a public cloud implementation.
Yes.
It's that we're helping the people of Sudan to be able to communicate with their loved ones, to get money for food.
Yeah.
It's the impact is so much greater than just a technology piece.
Exactly.
So, Danielle, I'm just all over.
Yeah.
Just give it to me like a 6-year-old. How did you get it done so fast?
Yeah, well, I think our entire team didn't sleep for weeks, literally. I mean, just people were working. I have a very global remote team. So
Yes.
even though I'm in Texas, I have people in India, I have people in Lebanon, I have people in the UK, I have people in New Zealand. So we take advantage of the global clock.
The US, Texas, Lebanon, New Zealand,
Turkey,
Turkey,
UK.
UK.
And don't forget the Sudan team.
Yeah,
As Sudan
Definitely,
team.
Zain team have played a
Oh,
huge
for
role
sure.
in this, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Because we will well prepared preparing the
Yes.
information that
Yes.
you can deploy. right?
Yeah.
So
No, it was
so
an absolute partnership, right? You know,
Yeah.
That
the
is
people
fantastic.
of the Zain IT team. We did a celebration dinner a couple nights ago. The whole
Wow.
team was there, and I mean, for them, this is cutting edge technology that you typically don't see. Number one in Africa, but they're a 2G network. This isn't a 5G modern thing with the latest whiz bang technology. This is a 2G network, and a lot of people have the sense that you can't add new tech to an old network, and that's not
Because
true
it's legacy.
because his legacy. I mean, 2G was developed in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
it's like 30 years old,
Yes.
right? And we're adding public cloud technology.
On top of it.
Yes, latest databases, you know, all this great new technology. And so I think in terms of the technology, the public cloud technology really helped. Totogi's designed to work in exactly this way. And I think the two teams working together
Yes.
were fantastic.
Good.
Okay, so look, I mean, the Sudan situation was and continues to be worrying to everybody. And you managed to do that under such extreme duress
Yeah.
on time, on stress, on a business
Yes.
that, if nothing was done, was gonna collapse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how do you take that experience, Danielle,
hmm
and roll it off to other players?
Yeah, I mean, we're already talking to Zain Group about applying. I mean, they saw it very closely. You know, I mean, I think the loss was north of $10 million a week to Zain in lost revenue, right? And so, I mean, it's important to them as a business, as you said.
Correct.
And so the group level has been watching this from afar and just they're amazed. And so we'll take it to them. Certainly there was another telco in the country who is still down without
Yes.
services.
Oh.
They're calling us, right? You probably don't want us to help
No
them,
worries.
but
You are helping people of Sudan.
right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a whole other set. But yeah, I think the way that Totogi works is it works a lot like Salesforce, which is such a crazy concept in telco, but it's a platform. And so it's constantly running in the
No
public
software.
cloud. You just log in, you get a login, and you can start using it. And that's so crazy for telco concepts because it's usually these really big projects. We have to spend millions of dollars up front. You know, 50 people show up to deploy it. And Totogi, for one penny, you can log in and get a little
So
instant.
what's the cost comparison between an incumbent competitor to Totogi and yourself?
Yeah, I think it's usually about 70 to 80% lower TCO. And the way that we do that is it's not really a comparison of software cost to software cost,
Yes.
because you know you have to include in the incumbent's view there's hardware costs, there's people costs, there's data center fees.
Yes, of course.
And now that's all rolled into the one fee of Totogi. So when you look at that whole picture, we do TCO analysis all the time. It's usually 70 to 80% cheaper. And that's what makes it so great for African opcos.
Yes.
Because a lot of the countries, there's a lot of lower ARPU. There's not a lot of extra money to spend millions of dollars.
There isn't.
Right?
So your cost base
It's such
is
a great
always
way
crucial.
to attract an African operator. And then the second thing is because we're using the latest and greatest tech, like literally, Zain Sudan is running now on the latest chips in the world. The most advanced chips without having to buy a bunch of hardware. They now have performant hardware. And I think that's another really great advantage of the public cloud. AWS is just maintaining all that hardware for you, and they get to stand on the shoulders of $1 trillion company.
Yes,
It's amazing.
absolutely. Abdallah, how has the relationship been? I mean, it almost sounds to me like it's not a vendor buyer relationship. It's almost like you guys are now sort of almost
We are connected at the hip.
connected at the hips.
We're partners, right?
Your
We're
partner. I love that.
Yeah, in success, we're partners. We have what we have done. Why I love technology, because it enables people to connect.
Correct.
And we feel proud of what we have achieved together with Totogi.
Yeah.
And I think Totogi model itself, it's really interesting model. It allows you to use Totogi as an engine for your charging, and you can build around this a lot of applications You can develop your own. You can do a lot. To be
Yeah, it's a
honest.
really open system with a lot of
Exactly.
APIs that we publish on our website.
Yeah.
IT people could just go in and start coding with it. That's what Abdullah is talking about.
Yes.
And so it's not the typical walled garden where you have to spend a lot of money after the fact with me to get all the changes you want. His team is now learning about it. And so, like I said, we did the celebration dinner and we were cutting a cake. And you know, at a wedding, you kind of hold hands together and you cut the cake. And I made a joke. Is this like a wedding? Are we cutting a cake like a wedding? And the CTO of Zain Sudan says it's more than a marriage, right? And that's how close we are, right? It really
That
is,
is fantastic.
you know, right? We are right there with them. And when they are suffering, we're suffering. And we want to make sure that we are helping them as much as we can.
So, and just to step back a bit
Yeah. Yeah.
and tell me, Danielle, how are you doing? Male-dominated sector. You are supercharged, full of energy.
When I'm not working, I'm sleeping. No, you know, I really am passionate about changing this industry. I see such great opportunity and it really does fuel me. And when we have great successes like with Zain, it just gets me out of bed every day. I'm 53. I'm not a spring chicken. So it's kind of hard
Don't
to.
look it.
Oh, thank you. No, but when I was younger, I used to work, 100-hour weeks.
Yes.
Very much of the startup culture, weekends, nights, hanging out with the whole company.
Yes.
And, if you told me that I would be 50 years old and starting a startup, I'd be like, no way, I can't work like that. But
So you started this company at 50.
At 50, I'm a mom.
There's hope for guys out there, guys. It's never too late.
It's never too late. I have the wisdom of the mistakes of my youth, right? I've led companies that have been in distress and had to fix them. So I've learned where other management teams have made mistakes. And so I came about it the long way. It's the story of my life. I kind of always do things my own way. But this, like I said, seeing the successes of the product and the successes with customers, and now taking it to where we really want to do is adding AI to a 2G network. We had a meeting a couple days ago.
How do you do that? It's, it's almost, forgive me for this analogy, but it's almost like putting a Porsche engine into a Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
How you do
You totally can do that. It's really like putting a Tesla electric engine into an older vehicle, but you totally can do that. And so we were sharing with them the insights that we're already seeing, subscribers coming in and not having a balance. There's an opportunity to intercept that moment, send them a text message, give them a great offer, and have them top up right then. Or they have less dollars in their wallet than the plans that are available on the website, create a dynamic offer for them. This is something that I think the world's biggest telcos in the richest ARPU nations are trying to do. And we're going to do it with Zain Sudan, right? And help them grow their revenue and help the people. And so, you can absolutely put this, especially with like generative AI and all this. I mean, the stuff that's going on with the LLMs is the pace is insane, right? Like
it's crazy, right?
Those are the times where I feel very old because I open up, Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it now, and every day someone's introduced a new LLM, or there's a small LLM, or an open source, or someone's bought someone, or a CEO has quit. You're like, what is going on? It's insane.
It's completely insane.
It's crazy.
Abdalla, how is the future looking like with your partnership with Totogi?
Definitely, the future will be looking bright with our partners, and especially Totogi, because what we have seen that, and we are, keen and also eager, to have such solutions like enabling AI in your platform, looking at your data, predicting the churns, for example, for your subscriber, and looking at changing the way we used to offer to our customers. That will definitely add to your competitive advantage. So meeting your market demands and also, time to market.
Yeah. No, I had 8 meetings today at the NOVACOM Summit with different
8 meetings.
8 meetings. It's kind of like speed dating, the way that the NOVACOM system works.
Yes.
Right. We have, I had 8 40-minute meetings with,
Mhm.
and it's fantastic, right? Just a great community of
Mhm.
telco executives, high level people that can make decisions. And I'm, telling the story of my company and our software.
That is fantastic.
And, I would say 75% of them are on outdated software that needs to be upgraded. Their incumbent vendor is charging them millions of dollars to upgrade. They don't have the money right now. They don't want to spend it on this. And when I tell them that, yeah, it's like Salesforce, like you just get upgrades all the time.
Yes.
Their faces are like, what?
What?
Right. And then I'm like, oh, and it's also 70 to 80% cheaper. They're like, what?
No.
Where's your card? Where's your card? We need to do a demo next week. And so it's been a fantastic conference for us for that reason, because you should keep hearing the same message over and over again. They're like, we don't want to upgrade because it's too expensive. This is not the project we want to do.
So
yeah.
it's been worth the 4-5 day travel
Yeah.
from
the United States. Yeah.
From Texas, from Dallas,
from Austin.
From Austin,
I went Austin, Dallas, London, Cairo, Nairobi to Diani Beach.
How are you still awake?
I don't know. Like I said, my favorite position is horizontal with my eyes closed.
Yeah,
but I am acclimated just in time to turn around and go back to Texas. But
talking about AI,
yeah,
I keep on I talk a lot about this new tech, as I call
Yeah.
it. That's AI and all the other stuff coming in every day.
Yeah.
And some guys have this thing of, no man, all these things, this is too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. I'm not interested in looking at this. And my take is, look, you've got to look at AI like a utility.
Yeah.
Make use of it.
Yeah.
Some will work.
Yeah.
Some won't.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, for example, on my day-to-day, I use AI through and through.
Every day. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
I mean, things as simple as, or as complicated as doing a presentation together, a deck, that would usually take me 2-3 days to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Put stuff together that I already have somewhere in the cloud. Today, I go to a platform called gamma.app.
Okay.
I put the topic of my presentation.
Yep.
And in less than 3 minutes, it gives me an outline.
Yeah.
And it gives me 8 to 10 slides.
Yep.
That give me like, whoa, I didn't think about that.
Yep.
And then I start feeding it.
Well, the hardest
into
thing in creation, I think, is the first draft.
is the first draft.
Right. Staring at that blank sheet of paper,
Exactly.
whether it's a tough email you need to write or a presentation.
Yes.
And I think what's so great about AI, and I tell, I have a podcast as well, Telco and 20, and I tell my team, have AI come up with the questions for the guest, have AI generate the show notes, have AI do the monologue. And maybe we don't end up with that exact version.
No, we don't.
But it's easier to edit than it is to start with a blank page. And the thing is that the draft comes out in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But also the other thing,
Crazy.
the other thing that for me is super important is how much more we learn.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this concern that AI will make us dumber,
Yeah.
will make us more stupid. I'm like, actually, the opposite is true.
Yeah.
So the other day, I was doing a presentation. I sit on the board of All Mutual Investment Group, which is one of the larger investment houses in Eastern Central Africa. And they asked me to do a keynote on the effect of artificial intelligence in investment. I'm like,
yeah.
but I sat down, I looked at, and I learned about BlackRock's AI engine called Aladdin. It's the first time I heard about it, and I drilled into it,
Yeah.
What does that do for me?
Yeah. Now your talk is better.
My talk
Right?
is
You have
better.
great examples.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I continue to learn. guys, look, I mean, this has been one
It's
of the
a
most
it's a
interesting
great
conversations.
story.
It's a great story.
We're impacting the world,
Absolutely.
right? Helping people with technology. It's amazing.
But we've got to come to the end of it. But I would definitely want to have a part 2 of this conversation.
For sure. Let's
Yeah?
do it.
Great. So thank you so much for the time. Really, really appreciate that Dollars come all the way from Sudan.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
Daniela?
Yep. Thank
All
you.
I can tell Danielle, sorry, not Danielle.
It's actually
Danielle.
when I'm in trouble, my mom calls me Daniela.
Danielle.
So, yeah.
All I can tell you is go conquer the world.
I will. Let's go do it. Let's change the world.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Take care. Yeah. Thank you.